everyone, welcome back to Hartland Farms, and we have some really exciting news for you. So you might have remembered in the beginning of the year we said that we might have one surprise coming, and then in our fall video we said we might have another surprise coming. Well, that surprise is finally here. We got bunnies! So these are our 3 meat rabbits. We have over here, this white one you see is June's rabbits called Cinderella. And I'm probably gonna bring back. This middle one you see is our buck, which is a male rabbit. His name is Blue. And Cody, do you want to introduce the one on the far left there?
So this one is Chestnut. She is another doe. So they're all about 15 weeks old at this point. And they're all, believe it or not, the same crossbreed. They're a California crossed with a New Zealand. So this one, obviously, Cinderella gives more of the California color pattern, and then the other two are look more New Zealand. But
what's really interesting with Chestnut, isn't her coloring unique?
So, from my understanding, Chestnut shouldn't even be able to happen. When you crossbreed the New Zealand, a lot of times you lose that chestnut color, but somehow she managed to hold on to it and continue on. So this is their first time inside the house, so they're just kind of exploring.
They're very curious. Why did we get meat rabbits, Cody?
So we are always looking to be more self-sufficient, more self-sustaining, and meat rabbits are a wonderful way to go with that. Obviously during the summer, spring, summer, fall, we can put them out in a rabbit tractor, have them outside to where their grow out bunnies are actually eating grass, and we're getting some fodder trees to be able to feed them as well. So that's going to help us with that. Obviously they breed like bunnies, so you can make a lot of meat in a short period of time. So really that's what we're looking for. We're looking to get more meat variety other than just our ducks, chickens, and quail. Mm-hmm. So.
I believe someone had said with how many times you breed them, you can make as much meat as you would get off of one cow. Just due to how many times you can breed them and then the number you are too.
Yep, if you were to push it to the max with 2 does and 1 buck, then you would be able to do about as much meat as you would get from a cow.
Yeah, which is really impressive. So in the past we've done broiler chickens. They're a lot of work, as are rabbits. But one thing that was kind of getting unsustainable for us is that the cost of food is increasing like crazy. As we all know, the cost of feed is very, very high. And one thing that broiler birds are good at is eating. So they are becoming extremely expensive to raise, and it's not a very sustainable program since they do need feed to eat off of. Meat rabbits, they eat a lot less. They put on pound per cost of feed, if you're just to feed them straight feed, is much less than it would be to feed broiler birds. About 8 weeks you can butcher them out, so just like broiler birds that are done at 8 weeks, you can butcher these guys. They're not these guys specifically, but they're the grow outs at 18 weeks or 8 weeks. One thing that makes meat rabbits more sustainable is that you can use fodder trees or anything like a variety of like weeds, small trees, grasses, hay to feed your rabbits throughout the winter. So if there comes to a point that feed is just way too expensive, or if there's a temporary rolling shortage on it, then that way you are okay. You have a backup plan. Meat rabbits are also a variety for us to eat. It's also nice to have an opportunity, like people use them to feed their dogs too. So that's kind of a nice option. I wanted to touch base on the history of meat rabbits. When I was researching meat rabbits to see if it was a good idea for our homestead, I kind of came across of how they used to be used. So back in the day, they used to keep them like in their barns and have them burrow into their barns. The reason they would do that is because you could easily catch them and then throw them in a pot or throw them in a stew. It was very much an easy meat source that didn't have you eating the family cow. So that was very, very interesting. And then throughout even the 1900s, when the cost of chicken increases to a point it wasn't very feasible for the average family to eat chicken, the backyard rabbits became more popular because they are a more sustainable, low-cost meat source that actually tastes very similar to chicken. It's lower in fat than chicken, and so it's considered healthier than chicken. So I find that super duper interesting. I really like the sustainable aspect of it as well.
We are going to actually be keeping our bunnies in a little bit more of a conventional method. Like Ashley was talking about before, they would just kind of let them free roam. It's kind of not the practice anymore. So we are going to actually be keeping these 3 inside of cages in our barn. Keep them nice and safe. These are our breeder bunnies. They're a meat variety of bunny, but we're not going to be eating these unless they don't produce. So these ones will be kept in cages in our barn. And then in the spring, when we start breeding them, producing baby bunnies, once they get to an appropriate age, we're actually going to put them in a rabbit tractor. It'll be kind of similar to our chicken tractors, built a little differently. But that way we can kind of put them out on grass, move them around our yard, and actually have them eating our grass and be making meat more sustainably and more affordably. So that's kind of our plan with these. A lot of times people will keep them in colonies and just kind of let them do their thing. We're not going to do that, at least not out the gate. Maybe sometime in the future we're looking at doing that, but not right now. We're going to be much more controlling of the reproduction that's going to be happening on our homestead here. A lot of times if you keep bunnies outside on grass for an extended period of time in one spot, you really have to watch out for parasites. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be really having to worry about that so much because we're going to move them around on a very regular basis. So it's not going to be as much of a concern for us, thankfully.
So we want to kind of answer the question why. So why for our homestead in particular? When you have a very small homestead or farm, so we only have 1.5 acres, and that includes our house and our barn, so not all of that's usable space, we need to really think that each animal needs to be multifaceted. So for example, our chickens are pest control. They take care of our ticks for us. They produce eggs for us, and they give us fertilizer. Ducks, they produce a couple eggs for us, again, pest control, and they produce fertilizer and give Cody joy.
I enjoy having dogs.
Our quail, they are a small animal that we can easily stack up, so we can have many in a smaller space. Additionally, they produce eggs for us for our farmers market, and they produce meat. So what do rabbits give us? Rabbits, of course, give us meat, as we talked about. Rabbit poo is very interesting. So unlike quail, chicken, and duck poo, which is high in nitrogen and needs to be, I think it's called hot compost, it needs to be cooked for a bit, add carbon.
You have to let it sit and rest, and it's a hot manure. So if you were to apply it directly to a plant, you will burn the roots out of it. Whereas with rabbits, it's a I don't know if it's called cold manure, but it is actually something you're able to apply it right to your garden, straight out of the rabbit. So you don't have to let it sit at all. You don't have to let it kind of cool off. It's ready to go.
So that's kind of something we're really excited about. It's something we can sell. We can sell the manure. Additionally, they do have really nice coats, so we can sell the fur coats as well. So, and then they don't need a lot of space. So again, you're looking at multifaceted, and they don't need a lot of space, which is awesome for a small homestead, small farm.
Always trying to function stack with the small animals and with the small homestead. So,
a couple of resources we wanted to kind of share that we found, and I'll put links and names to them below. Is number one, Story's Guide to Raising Rabbits was super helpful as a nice intro and looking at different rabbit breeds. And then second, another one that's been really helpful for me is Backyard Meat Rabbits. I'm going to double check that name. Yep, it's called Backyard Meat Rabbits, and it's on Facebook. This group is awesome. They are awesome with supporting on how to process them, how to raise them, different health conditions. I've learned so much from this Facebook group of just kind of scrolling, seeing the pictures, seeing all the different comments, and the wealth of information and knowledge on there. Was there any other resources you had?
No, those are the main ones. The Story's Guide to Raising Anything is fantastic. If you're looking to learn about raising rabbits, ducks, chickens, pigs, cows, whatever, we really highly recommend that series of books. They're very informative.
That's it. So thank you guys for joining us. We're happy we can finally announce our new edition, and we'll keep you posted on how it goes.
Thanks.